institution has its idiosyncrasies, but you are wonderful students. You know, you are students. You are doing the best you can in scenarios and situations that sometimes aren't always easy, sometimes aren't always fair, and you do the very best you can. And I think it's fair to say that every student in the Lower Mainland, and certainly within BC, have the same kind of struggles. So with that being said, we are trying to offer some kind of blanket pillow to give you the background to help you. Some of the organisations that I spoke to, there was hesitancy with one or two, for sure. We came last year, students didn't turn up. When they did turn up, they weren't sure what they were being interviewed for. They weren't prepared, they weren't presented, they were late. You know, they got muddled up with. And it seemed to me that when I listened and we read the evaluation feedback, because that's a big part of the link for us as suppliers of career fairs, is in any event, you know, that the last part of it is the evaluation. How do we evaluate, improve, monitor, and structure something to be more effective? So consequentially, what we've done is we've put that evaluation loop in, and we are asking the employers their experience, and that goes for right from the beginning to the middle to the end. So what we learned last year was that employers come in from the Lower Mainland and have an experience with Douglas. They don't ultimately have an experience with students in the first instance. It's how the team contacted them. It's the mechanism, emails, phone calls. How did we speak to them, treat them? How did we deliver the information? What was our marketing strategies? What was our flat materials like? How did we bring to the table a professional image that would encourage employers that, quite frankly, while they want to be approached by colleges and trainers and developers of talent and intellectual capital, they also want to know that their time that they're going to come here isn't wasted. And, you know, their time's valuable. There is no question about it. To take a 2-day or 1-day or half-day out of a busy schedule is tough. So the team, myself included, were talking to senior HR directors, presidents of HR, company presidents, senior staff within the key organisations. And I will tell you here and now that it hasn't been easy to get people to commit. It's not saying that they didn't want to commit. The question is, well, what's the point in coming if the outcome doesn't match the effort, the time, the money, the investment in sending people for half-day holidays with the travel, the parking, the whole mechanism. So what we do as a team, what I do, but more importantly what you do, will count. The other thing is that in 6 months, a year's time, or tomorrow, there are going to be resumes from students that end up on their desks. And that means that they're going to see Douglas College. So I want you to think about a time in your lives where you had a bad experience. Did you remember necessarily the front desk agent that wasn't that helpful, or the server that was a little slow and didn't bring the bill quickly enough, or didn't replace something that was cold, or that you didn't get the attention? No, you probably remember the brand of hotel, where the hotel was, what the airline was, what the clothing store was, what the retail outlet was. You didn't remember that it was Nellie on the counter between the hours of 9 and 7, but she was having a bad day. You just remember the brand. So with that in mind, people will just remember Douglas College. We have over 250 students in our hospitality management program. Each one of you not only represent yourself, you represent the college, but you represent each other. Because when I know that as an instructor I've gone to field trips, I've got those field trips because I'm an instructor, a man of integrity, I'm trusted. People know that if I say I'm going to do something, I do it. I'm not, oh, I'll do it, and then I don't turn up, or I'm flaky, or, you know, or I'm not sure. It's either a yes or a no. I do it or I don't. And so with that in mind, I have a good name in the business, as does Anton and Mark and Sue and Joanne and the team and Joe, and the list goes on. We all have that integrity which opens up doors. Now, would the exhibitors come to the college without me? Of course they would. They want to recruit talent, you. So what are they met with? What do they see when they walk in, when you walk in? And so with that thought, that means that commitment, integrity. If you've made a commitment to come in an interview at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock to see somebody, then you do that you've booked it, because the list for sure will come back to us of people that didn't turn up, and that's going to be a moment in my time where we're going to have some dialogue and discussion. Because you're representing us, and remember that you may leave in this semester or later on in the fall, but the students joining are going to be coming to the same fair next year and the year after and the year after that. And to try and get employers to buy in to that traction is tough. Time is money. The industry is tight. People have got more to do. Most or some of the ones that I spoke to, I know for a fact said they'd love to come but haven't got time. Don't have the staff. Just can't do it. They are literally travelling Canada to recruit. And my response is, but we have 200 plus fabulous students. Why wouldn't you come to us? So what I'm going to do is be building relationships for next year. And the team have done a marvellous job this year to get people to come in. Your part in all this is to make sure that you represent not only yourself, but the college, the programme, and what this programme stands for. So that's really important. So if you're supposed to turn up, turn up. If you're supposed to look in an appropriate way, please make that effort. If you're going to in a hotel or a resort or a food and beverage outlet or a company, then please do the background research. Make sure that you know what you're going in for. Turn up on time, be ready. And even if you're not at the midpoint interested in perhaps what the interviewer is offering, then that's fine. Be polite, be courteous. But remember that things change. 3 months later, the person that interviewed you may be the same person that's received your resume when things in your life have changed and you're now sat in front of them. Because people remember. You might think they do, but they do. I've recruited and interviewed all my professional life, and I've had people come back round a second time that didn't give me the time of day the first time, and there was never a third time. Because if I can't be treated appropriately first time round, then it's important to remember that second time round, you can... Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, David. How are you?
I'm good, sir, thank you.
Well, that's very good.
I'm being filmed.
4, 8, 12. Good.
We're being filmed, Mark.
Are you being filmed?
I'm being filmed. This is going to be posted. Good morning, everybody, if you're watching on YouTube.
It's always good to interrupt the film.
It is.
It shows how good the actor is.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning to you all, and thank you for showing up. David's got some fabulous information, fabulous presenter, and he's going to really bring you up to speed on what our expectations are of you next week. And one of them, the primary importance, if you show up and you're dressed and accordingly, and you address the interviewers by their last name, unless they invite you to do otherwise, you're only halfway home. What you're missing is a good deal of homework on the company, so that you understand and can ask questions of the interviewer when they ask you to, but you understand where they play in the marketplace, the Lex level economy, how many hotels they have in the region, hotel rooms, how much meeting space, that kind of basic facts, their market segments. Have that at your ready, so that you can just quickly have that on maybe a cheat card if you want. That's ready for you when they ask you for questions, or when they ask a question of you about their company. You might not be able to answer the question that they ask you, but you should be able to say, but I do know this about you. And so that's, I think David will cover off, and good luck to you all. And thank you, David, for taking your time.
Lovely. Thank you, Mark, very much. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mark. And so just sort of taking a lead off of Mark there, and I think it is important to remember that some of those key points about the segment and number of properties and having specific details of or around about fashion as to the marketplace or the industry in which the property or the restaurant or the establishment plays in is also good. I think it's fair to say as well that the players that we have got coming, we're very proud of the list. Joanne and I have been on the phone, as has all of the team, to speak to, and to actually get to speak to the head person. I think in Starlight Casinos, I think it was the 9th call, I actually got the person. We played phone tag backwards and forwards. My phone bill must be thousands of dollars. I should probably have to auction a kidney on eBay to pay for it. But the very fact is that if you look at the amount of time and effort, it's not quickly hello, good morning, would you like to come? Yeah, good, see you there, bye. It wasn't like that. There's dialogue, there's emails, there's backwards and forwards. If you look at 30 or 40 companies that are invited to come, and we get sort of 12, 15, 20 companies, that's the result of about 50 companies being approached, and a million phone calls and letters and emails later. Thank goodness for technology, for sure. So with that thought, that's why we thought an information session. I don't think really there's anything else that I want to say. I have to tell you, as I said before, that I've taught in other institutions, I'm very proud of what we have here at Douglas College. I think we have a fabulous program, wonderful instructors, committed and energetic and creative and loyal to not only the program but to you. I think we have an excellent chair, Mr. Elliott, who is very, very well connected and has made a lot of backseat commitment. He's done a lot of driving from the rear, which I think is very important, you know that. And so I just want to thank everybody, the team especially, because you've done a great job. So thank you, each of you, for that. And I'm going to open it up at this point and answer perhaps any questions you may have. So do you have any questions? You can't ask questions for the YouTube viewers, but you may be able to in the room. So is there any questions that you might have for me? Any questions at all? No? Did you enjoy that little discussion? Well, or my presentation? Was that good? Did you enjoy it? I mean, it's really common sense. There's nothing there that shouldn't be obvious, but sometimes it's just highlighting it. And I don't want to seem like an overbearing, headmaster that's going to beat you with a stick. I think we're beyond that. I think you are adults, and I think I'd like to see what I'd like to see come back from the evaluations of the participants, the companies that come in. Is we enjoyed Douglas, we enjoyed the students. We recruited, it met our needs, it was a vehicle that was successful, it was appropriate, and that it matched, if not exceeded, our expectations of not only what they came for, but also against other colleges, because VCC, I think, are having their career fair in the next few weeks, as is other colleges and universities, and so and the same people go to the same places. It's almost like it's a circuit. You go around the circuit, and we're one on the circuit. So with that thought, if you hold that for a second, they compare us. Well, Douglas was this, and they talk. We live in a very isolated community, but we also live in a very integrated community too. The hospitality and tourism industry in British Columbia is extremely close-knit. And like I said, if you don't work appropriately at one point, I guarantee you that will raise a head later on somewhere else. You will bump into the same interviewer in a different setting, and they will remember you. Or if they don't remember you, they'll remember Douglas. They'll know the year they came in. It was the year you left, and it was, oh my goodness, it was that terrible year we went to Douglas, and 90% of the students were just hopeless, and it wasn't good, and it wasn't this, and that's not what we want. We want them to come out with vibrancy. It met our needs, it was a really good time. It also, one other thing, it showcases the program. It showcases me, it showcases Mark and Susan and Joanna, and all the team. It showcases what we teach you. If it's like you judge your family and your parents by the kids and how they behave, not that you're kids, but it's the same analogy. It's what you do and you behave that shows what we do with you. And I think that's really important. It's like when I take my dog, Sausage, to the kennels, who is, a well-behaved golden retriever. They don't know him as anything other than Sage or Sausage. and he goes, but he behaves because we've trained him. So I have trained him properly. Comparing you with a dog, but I'm saying, I'm saying that, you know, I know that if his kennel mate says to him sit down, he'll sit. I know that if he needs to walk properly, and the reason is because we've trained him properly, he will behave appropriately. I don't need to be there when we pick him up. Isn't your dog obedient? Well, I spent 1,000 hours teaching him to sit, but now he sits, he'll sit to command. So with that thought, it's important to remember that. So anyway, I've talked enough.
Thanks, David.
Everybody worked with me very well. Joanne?
I really just wanted to underline what David had said. He talked about, you know, being prepared and being well dressed. These are things that are common sense, but also things that came up quite frequently on the feedback from the previous year's career days. So that's why we focused on them a little bit. There were sort of spelling mistakes in resumes, and at this level there shouldn't be. So, you know, career prep day tomorrow, if you're signed up for that, fantastic. Have somebody else read your resume. Know the company that you're going to be interviewing for. A lot of people just sort of threw their names in and said, oh, here's a spot, I'm going to put myself in here and interview there. And then they got there and had no idea that it was a golf club or a cruise ship or things of that nature. So it's really important to inform yourself about the choices that you've made. I also want to say that obviously everybody here has signed up for interviews next week. So you've created a profile online and you've gone in and you've chosen your spots. I really encourage you from now until at least Saturday to keep checking back, because if there's one thing I learned sort of, you know, running with this career days and the team as well, is that things change all the time. We've got people coming and going, and I also want to say, and again, speaking to what David said about our perception or how people perceived on this college, it's really important to us that we not waste anybody's time. And so, with that being said, if you look up at the board, there are some companies that only have 1 or 2 people who are going to, students who are going to come in and interview with them, and they've committed for an entire day. So essentially, they're going to have 40 minutes of interviews and then be sitting there. What we're going to do is inform those companies on Saturday how many have signed up for interviews with them. And then they are going to decide whether or not they still want to be committed, whether or not they still want to come, which is totally understandable. As David said, very busy industry, very busy people. So Starbucks, for example, has 2. And I'll call her on Saturday and say, May, you've got 2 people who are interested. If she then says, well, we're not going to come on that day, that's okay, that's acceptable to me, because again, time is money. But we will make sure that whoever signs up for interviews, their resumes are forwarded on to the companies so there are no missed opportunities. You may not interview that day, but we will make sure that you get in contact with the employer. I don't think that it's going to happen, however, that being said, I just wanted to let you know that. I'm going to turn it over to Jamie, who's going to talk a little bit more about the online registration. If you have any questions about that, Brad and Jamie will be able to answer that for you.
So I've already had one question. When is my interview time? So if you've already signed up for one, you just simply see my arrow there. If you click on your time slot, it'll come up right here. Time, Tuesday, March 11th, 10:40 to 11. Got it? Well, when you sign up, I'll show you here. So this is my account. So this is what I would see if I was a student, if I was signing up just like you guys. So I'll just go through a typical sign up for those who haven't actually signed up for an interview yet. So you would click on a white space and you say, oh, hold on. I'm not logged in. I gotta re-log in. Hold on, guys. Okay. So you click on a white space, and as you see, if I can't point here, if you look at Hyatt, you see all this white space. They're actually all booked up, but because they have 4 interviews coming, you can still sign up for an interview. So that's why it's white. If it's purple like this, it means that time slot is no longer available. So you would click on the spot with whatever company you want, and then you'd go through this little survey. I'm just going to do it quickly, save us time. Oh, there we go.
We've gotten good at that. Practice.
Fabulous, JD.
Thank
I'm
you.
very impressed with the speed of it all.
And
I've read it so many times, you know.
It's pretty impressive. The software's been brilliant.
Thank you. Stand, and then whoop, save my appointments. Close the window. Oh, so there you go. So when you sign up for an appointment, your appointments will show up blue. So then if you want to
edit that.
see what time it is, you click on it again. And right here again, time, 10 to 10:20. Yeah.
What if you want to cancel your appointment?
If you want to cancel your appointment, you click the blue square that you want to cancel, and you go all the way down, and you can't see it. Hold on. Okay. You push cancel this appointment. Are you sure you want to cancel this appointment? Okay.
Have we got any rules, JD, on that?
I'm sorry?
Do we have any rules?
Yes, if you want to cancel your appointment, you need to do it within 24 hours of the appointment. All right? And cutoff day for signing up for interviews is Sunday. Do you have a specific time for that? 6 o'clock?
Yeah.
6 o'clock Sunday evening will be the cutoff day for interviews. Any other questions? If you have any other important announcements that we need to get across to students, I will either email them directly to you, or they will come up on the login page when you first go to the site. So we have a couple here already. So for example, if you have any questions, you can contact us at the Career Days email. And also, I have to change those times actually. We have the Butterton's Be Prepared workshop tomorrow from 9 to 4.
And how many students, 40-something, have signed up for that?
Yeah, there's about 42.
That's brilliant.
Yeah. Any other questions?
I'd like to add something if the questions are, when the questions are dealt with. So, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
So, I didn't bring my resume with me that day, or just sending
It is a very good thing to bring your resume to the interview, yes.
So, I need to send a version there.
I'm sorry?
I need to send a version to.
Only on companies that specifically want to pre-screen.
Yeah.
If, for example, there's 3 companies that want to pre-screen. And up on there, you have their contact information as well, so you can just send them your resume directly. And just in the information, just put on student at Douglas College, sign up for an interview with you for career days. Here's my resume.
For example, if you were to sign up for Starbucks, so you click on a square, and right at the top here, and under bio and information, says required to send resumes for pre-screening. Please email this person regarding Douglas College Career Days pre-screening. So that's where you will forward your resume to them.
So, it'll show, the requirement will show on top.
Yep.
When you go to make your appointment.
Yeah, and I've posted this up here. It says Starbucks and Joey's restaurants are the only ones that are pre-screening right now that I know of. Fairmont is as well. I will add that immediately.
Fairmont.
Joanna?
No.
No.
Fairmont, do they have to go through the automated process of the system?
Psychometric.
It,
Psychometric.
it doesn't say that. Well, I think what happens is that you send your resume to them, and then if
They
you're-
send you an email link.
Yes.
But that usually takes a
they'll
week.
send you an email link.
That usually takes a week,
Yeah.
so yeah. But I assume they'll go ahead with the interview?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yes. I'm sorry? Cover letter is a good idea as well. And you want to, it'll be gone over a lot better than I can go over it right now in tomorrow's session. But a cover letter, you basically just want to say, this is why you want to hire me as an employee. And you want to target it directly to that company. So if you're going to go to Joey's and say, I'd be a terrific hostess because da 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 da. This is what I have to offer. Or if you were to join Fairmont, you'd say, I'd make a terrific front desk agent because la 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 la, and this is what I can offer. La 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 la. Is that pretty much what a cover letter is, David?
Well, generally, my interpretation of a cover letter normally speaks about 3 specific areas. The first paragraph speaks about the position that you're applying for and where you saw it and the circumstance of which you are applying. The second one looks at your suitability and it matches the key components of the program, of the job, versus your key top 3, top 4 reasons for suitability. And the third paragraph speaks about what needs to happen in terms of contact, follow-up, resume, whatever. And the cover letter is supposed to be written specifically for the job that you're applying for. So no cover letter will be the same, as should no resume. So it really is an intro, and it's a key to the door.
Yeah.
It's just a courtesy, this is who I am, this is where I saw it, this is why I'm suitable, this is where you can find me, and this is where we can follow.
Right. And if I can add on to that, actually, I've had to try to get jobs several times, and one of the key things that I learned that is actually huge is when you research the company, look for the job ad itself, and look for keywords that they're actually using in the job ad, like high willingness to serve, organized, extreme, or high, what am I trying to say? Good communication skills. Yes. You want to actually put those into your resume or cover letter because when they're skimming, they want to see, oh, they researched, they know what we're looking for, and this is what they have. And then they say, okay, well, let's put that in this pile. Because if I was an interviewer, I wouldn't waste time on resumes, especially if it was a big hotel, getting hundreds of resumes in. You only want to spend, 15 seconds skimming. So you want to try and diversify yourself from your competition.
Brilliant.
So, any other questions? Yeah.
How can I get the title that was stated in the cover letter, like dear blah blah blah?
I'm going to be adding the interviewers tonight. So just look back and click on your appointment schedule, and it'll say who the interviewer is, as well as the company that they're interviewing for. Any other questions? Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so this is more for the YouTube audience, but also for you, but something to remember. And so when we first started to talk a little bit about the career days, students would say to me, well, I'm not looking for a job today, so I'm not going to do an interview, I'm not going to come, I'm not going to engage in the career day fair process, because what's the point? I'm not looking for a job at this point. And I think it's fair to say that that isn't a bad thing to think. It's just not actually correct in the sense that you're building relationships. So it may be today you're not looking to work for Fairmont or Joey's or Sandman or whoever the company that you're looking to work in the long term. But remember that the recruiters that come in will probably pick your resume up this time, and if you're suitable but looking at the summer or the fall. The cycle of recruitment generally is normally up to 3 months. So if you add 3 months onto March, April, May, June, you're already in June, July, and then you're in the fall. So it may be that you're not thinking specifically for now, but you're having an opportunity to find out an interview with the company. So it's golden, because to get an interview with a lot of the people that are coming in would be 10 times harder. So if you were to, for example, want to interview for the Hyatt Regency on Burrard Street, that would be quite hard to get an interview. You'd have to go into the drop-in in the afternoon, Tuesdays, Thursdays, apply online. Typically, Catalina gets around about 200 to 300 applications per job. She skims them through. She might call 5 in for interview. We've got Hyatt on site interviewing at your demand. So if you're thinking today, tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, I might be interested in the Hyatt, then with that thought, it might be appropriate to interview. Because if you make a big enough impression, they will hold your resume over for that period of time. So it's really the start of your networking, and it doesn't mean that you have to waste interviewers' time when you're thinking about a job in 2015 or 2016, but 2014 won't be long over and will be into 2015, and when your program is starting to come to an end, that's the time when you'll start to think about it and start to look at it. It takes time to make those contacts. People have looked back on the career fairs and said, I wish I'd have done more work, because when I actually left school and I started applying for jobs, I didn't get the number of interviews, because they don't do that. If you write into a property or an organisation, it's tough to get an interview, to get a good interview. You know, one job might attract 200-300 applications. So I would encourage all of you who haven't signed up, if you're thinking in the longer term, in the next 6 to 12 months, it's worth coming in and having that interview, because companies hold talent. And hopefully you're going to become better and more improved, and you're going to have more knowledge and you're going to have more experience. So when they do finally re-get you, or when you recontact them and say, I interviewed at Douglas College Career Fair, I'm interested in a job with you now, I've left college, I'm really motivated to come in, would you be willing to give me an interview? The chances are that they've met you once, they'll probably meet you again. If they haven't met you at all, it's more likely the answer will be no. So I would encourage you and the audience that watches this, that if you haven't signed up, then that might be something to think about. Joanne?
I just have one more thing to add.
Sure.
We do have we reserve the right to move any appointments. So for example, if this was the schedule, we could just move this person over here, but we wouldn't do it without asking your consent. We would make sure that it worked with your schedule, and we just wanted to be sure that you were aware of that, just in case the occasion arrives that we had to do that. All right? Go ahead.
Yes, and I just want to, thank you, Jamie. I just want to add to this that Ted Weeks is coming in from Royal Roads. He's not recruiting students for work, he's recruiting students. He's going to be talking about the hospitality degree that they have at Royal Roads, and he's going to be in one of our hoteling suites up on the 3rd floor. The posters posted around the school, the room that we have him in there has changed, so I'll make sure that you know which room he's in. Also, Starlight Casinos is going to be doing, Starlight Casinos is in New Westminster. They're going to be doing a presentation, a 1-hour presentation, and then holding open interviews afterwards. That's why they're not up there. Gateway Casinos is up there, and they're part of that, but Gateway also encompasses other casinos in the Lower Mainland. So specifically Starlight from New West will be holding a 1-hour presentation about their property, about their company, and then we'll be holding open, you won't have to sing or anything, open interviews afterwards, so you can just let them know that you're interested after the presentation. So another really, really important component that makes any event run really well are volunteers. And so I'm going to pass it over to Bailey so she can talk to you a little bit about the volunteer positions that we have available for you.
Okay, so I know that you guys are obviously all having interviews for that day, but we also need some volunteers. So,
You want to get filmed doing this? You should film quiz.
we have 5 different volunteer sectors. So obviously before 9 o'clock in the morning, we need help with the setup. And then also at the end, like after 5 o'clock, we have takedown as well. We also have a trolley service, which we have enough for Tuesday, but we need some for Wednesday right in the middle. So I think around 9
We need 9 o'clock attendance for Tuesday and 1 o'clock attendance for Wednesday.
Okay, and we also need escorts to take our the recruiters to escort them to their rooms and to just give them a little rundown, because we're going to give them like a welcome sheet, and it's going to show like the exits, that's very important, and the bathrooms as well. And just for somebody to say, look, here they are, and show them on the way there so they actually can see on paper and have an understanding where they are. And the last thing that we need is room facilitators, and that would be people standing in front of the rooms and monitoring the flow of people going in, so making sure that the interviews are complete, and then asking, can we send the next people in, and doing that as well. So once again, I said, I understand you guys are going to be interviewing. It's just another responsibility to take on, just like in real life. More responsibility is just better practice. I understand if you don't want to take on that load, but if you guys think you can do it, just give me and Julian a shout. Just give us your time and we'll work around it. We really much appreciate it. Or if you have a friend that you know is not doing it, or maybe they're not here and you could run it by them, we're open, our Facebooks, we're here all the time anyway, so.
You can also email us at the dccareers@gmail.com.
Okay, so does anybody right now have a yearning to sign up for volunteering?